What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kyle coming back at you with another video. How to create a song that's going to be a future bass / EDM song from scratch in FL Studios with stock plugins. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright people, this is it. This is what we got. Here's our project I made for us. So here's what we got. To start, we have our intro. We got some keys here. Here's our keys. With the keys, I threw in some white noise risers, and I used a filter. So let me just explain that whole process there. Just a little bit, but a lot's kind of going on. I used a filter to automate the cutoff frequency. So for our FL keys, which is in track number 1, I went and I added here, I added a fruity filter, and you can do that in the filter section of your plugins when you're adding them. And then I left clicked cutoff frequency, and I created an automation clip. It popped up down here, and I modified it to look like this. I layered 2 white noise tracks together, and what I did with, I made one unique riser noise number 2, and what I did was I put gross beat on it. It's really cool what you can do with gross beat. And that made it kind of flutter a little bit. There's multiple ways to do flutter, but I like using gross beat because it's the easiest, and it's the one that I know how to do. So here we are. You can kind of get different effects. It's cool. So then what I have here is I have some plucks. I made my chord progression. It's just A major to E major to C sharp minor to B major. Okay. Now before the plucks, actually what I had was ambience here. And this ambience, this is a pad preset in Citrus. And you can add instruments by going here to plus. It'll pop up here. You can click whatever it is that comes in our case Citrus, and you can set a preset, or you can start messing with knobs here. Okay. Now, along with that, I have this. I copied and pasted the chord progression here, and I have this pluck, this harmless preset pluck. And what I actually did for the plucks is I went here to this little arrow, and I went to tools, and I went to chop. Plus click chop, and it will chop up the chords into a different rhythm for you. It's really cool. So experiment with that. Kind of gives it that drive, like, okay, the song is picking up now. I layered the plucks. Ambience, it sounds like this. This is a bass that I have that I use Groove Machine synthesizer. Cool. I could lower that an octave to make it sound, but I will. Cool. So now we're going to get into
kick.
That's right, I put a kick pattern down next. Then after that, I put in a lead, and I also put in a snare. Put those vocals in. Here's what I did with the lead. That's pattern number 3. I went to a new pattern because we're kind of changing stuff up here. and I put a lead on top of everything. And that guy is right here. This is a preset in Harmless. Harmless is in the synth section here. You can click on Harmless and add that guy. Super, super amazing synthesizer. One of my favorites. I use it, I think, the most in this. So, our lead looks something like this, by the way. Click on our lead here. Click on the piano roll. And we'll go up a little bit. This is what our lead looks like. Got that vocal in the background. And guys, trust me when I say I know this is no Illenium vocal chop. But if you want to make an Illenium vocal chop, it's totally possible. Look up SliceX on YouTube, or if you want me to do a tutorial on SliceX, I'm more than happy to. It is an amazing thing where you can chop up vocals. Pretty much the same all the way through here. I switch up the beat here because the song is going. We need something to drive us into the drop or chorus. This is going to take us there. Okay. So really what it is it's a 4 on the floor kick pattern where I put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 kick on every quarter note, okay? Sidechained it. I layered my kicks, by the way. The kicks are layered. That just gives more depth to the kick. Here's what this kick sounds like by itself. With the layered kick. More hefty. Cool. So over here. Same basic idea, just with a different rhythm. Okay? Now, if you want, just like literally copy everything that I'm doing. If you want to know the kick pattern here, it's 1, then on the 3rd beat, just kind of pause it and look here because it repeats itself if you didn't notice. And then the other one's pretty easy, just 1 on every beat. If you don't know how to do that, go to the magnet here, 1/4 beat, and it will just automatically snap it to 1/4 of a beat. Okay? Then here's our drop. But right before we get into our drop, we have so how did I do that? Okay, I took our snare, I went to pitch, and I right-clicked it, excuse me, and I created an automation clip here. When you create this automation clip, it's going to pull up your pitch. You're going to want to set mode to stretch, okay? Because if you have it at resample where it usually is, it's not going to work. It's going to stretch out the kick, and I know that sounds weird, but when it says stretch here, it's going to stretch it whenever the pitch changes. It's going to stretch it to fit however you want it. If you don't, it's going to just it doesn't make any sense why they called it that. But if you don't, it's actually, if you have it at resample, it's going to make it the same size. It's just going to be at a different pitch, and we want to keep it shorter and shorter and even shorter until we hit our drop, which is right here. So speaking of our drop, here's our chords along with our lead. So let's just see what we have for our drop chords, okay? And our drop chords are pattern number 4. We have this harmless here. Sounds like this. Looks like this. Pause it and copy this if you want this exact sound. This is one that I made from scratch. This is another one that I made from scratch. Sounds like this. Pause it and copy this if you want this exact sound. Okay. And next one is actually a Citrus preset that I freaking love. It is Silversaw, and you can go to presets and you can find it over here. Silversaw, it's in the synth string section. And what I did actually, it's a preset tweak. So I tweaked the preset a little bit. I turned our LFO on. If you want LFO on this is what this sounds like with the LFO on. Pretty cool. It's like, I feel like it's almost maybe the main synth in our chords. So to do the LFO, click this LFO tab right here. It's going to be on volume. It needs to be on volume. You can mess with the speed however you want it. Make sure tempo and global is on. You can mess with the speed and and you can mess with this to your liking. Make sure tempo is on, because if you don't have tempo on, it's going to be off beat probably, and it's just not going to sound good, you guys. Okay, so our other chord here, we have this Tyrell from Yuhi. What the heck? That's not in my plugin list. Yeah, it's not, but it can be because it's free. So go get this like right now. There's a couple of free plugins that I'm going to be talking about in a video soon that you're not going to want to live without. This is one of them, okay? So I have this Hero guitar. I probably would have named it Guitar Hero if they were allowed to. I tweaked this a little bit. Sounds like this. Whoa, sounds kind of ugly by itself, right? Yeah, I just needed a little bit of grit in the chords because they were all pretty clean for the most part. So cool. All of our chords layered together. Sounds like this. Guys, the name of the game in EDM and future bass, and just the whole EDM genre when you're coming with synths, is to layer. Sounds like that. Same idea with the leads. Harmless lead, Citrus lead, another harmless lead. Those are all presets because I didn't feel like going through and making every one unique. So together, oh, that sounds like this. Nice. Now let's have a listen at our cymbals. We made some cymbals for the drop as well. And they sound like this. And how I made those was I actually went to the channel rack. I added in from our cymbal samples over here that come stock with FL, and I actually created another pattern for this guy. So I have this is our ride right here. So basically, for just to shorten this, our ride is on quarter note, and our hi-hat is on eighth notes. Okay. And then we have a little pattern switch up here. I'll play just this pattern. So copy this if you want, and you can actually save this pattern if you want to, and have it kind of like a little maybe go-to hi-hat pattern. And if you want, you can go to pattern number 5 if you do this, and you can, pretty sure you can actually render this as an audio clip so that you have this pattern number 5 as like an audio sample, and you can like save that audio sample. It's really cool what you can do in FL Studios, guys. So I hope you paused it. Okay, so that's what we have. Now our drop is here. Okay, so let's give this whole thing a listen, I guess. But before we do, actually, I want to go through and talk to you about our mixer here. I have all of our chords bussed to the chord bus, and this is where I'm doing my mixing. It's going through to the sidechain, and the sidechain is going to the master. Okay, chords are bussed here, and I have some plugins here. I have an EQ. Okay, took out a lot of low end, boosted the high mids just a little bit, and did some overdrive / distortion, some reverb on them, and some compression. Okay, then I have the bass, just some EQ. I took out the bass, some of the sub frequencies and some of the super highs, more compression, the leads, it's the same idea. Reverb, pretty parametric EQ. Boosted, the high mids probably should be a little bit more pure with those. The compression as well on the leads now. And that again is going to the sidechain as well, because sidechain just sounds so cool in EDM. Sidechaining is going to be your preference a lot of the times. Make sure you sidechain your bass no matter what you do. But when it comes to stuff like high-end leads, it's preference. But I did sidechain that because I just like the way it sounds. By the way, if you see that I have a lot of the same plugins on my channel, it's because you're really only going to need like 3 plugins. Don't go and buy like a bunch of like random plugins. Don't go buy like a Valhalla Room. It's like $1,000. Just kidding. It's not $1,000. But I mean, for one reverb thing, when you have Fruity Reverb, that's amazing. Like, don't get that until you're like Illenium. All right. So, or until you can like really afford it. Like you can afford to blow that money. So, by the way, last thing before we get into this, I have over-the-top compression here, OTT. It's an X for Records plugin. This is not a Stog plugin, but it's also free. So go pick that one up, because this one, I think every producer uses over-the-top compression. It's multi-band compression, and yeah, it's really good, you guys, for a free plugin. I use it on almost every song that I have. I do use it on every song that I have. So, without any further ado, once again, let's give this whole guy a listen. See what we're dealing with here.
Kick.
Fam, well, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like the vid. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to it. No, I'm playing. I'm not gonna really cry here. Unless if I actually did cry, you would subscribe. Nah, I'm playing. Calm down. Jeez. Not for real though. Show some love in the comment section maybe. And if you guys want me to do any other tutorials or anything like that, SliceX, Real, what am I doing next? Guys, you tell me. I don't even know. There's so much to cover in this world, but it's amazing. Alright, so I'm gonna hit you guys up later. I'm gonna hit you on the next one. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get that bread. We're gonna do it. Let's go. Until next time, I'm out.